Expectation. Huesca, many thought, were the surprise package of last weekend when they won away in their first ever game in the Spanish top flight against Eibar. But during the week it has been Levante who have been the team who have been talked about. Their 3-0 away victory in the opening day against Real Betis really has seen them and their inspirational leader José Luis Morales, El Comandante, as he is known. They have won all the headlines. They take on a Celta Vigo side tonight under new head coach Antonio Mohamed. They drew 1-1 at home against Espanyol. And still an awful lot to do for the Argentinian head coach. For the home team, Paco Lopez, he has had his first full pre-season in charge of the club, and it really does seem to have borne fruit. He took over towards the end of last season in early March, replacing Juan Muñiz, and steered Los Granotas away from the bottom three and to safety. It was something of a miraculous turnaround. So many thought that the home team tonight would be starting this campaign a level lower. But here we are, Levante against Celta in the Spanish top flight. 2 wins out of 2 at the start for Levante really would be an incredible way to kick off the campaign. And that result really has lifted the supporters. They've turned out en masse. August, of course, across the Iberian Peninsula, a holiday month. The day of the big return still to come, the 31st of August. Don't try going out in your car around any of the big cities in Spain on that particular day, as all the locals return from holiday. You can see here those from the city of Valencia and indeed the surrounding districts have come to see what this new look Valencia is indeed all about. Signings coming in the summer, a huge amount of money received for the only sale that Levante actually made, 28 million euros, around 25 million pounds, the official figure, as Premier League side Bournemouth splashed the cash to land Colombian midfielder Jefferson Lerma, and that gave the home side here tonight a windfall which they have gone out and spent a large part of. But having spent all that cash, the head coach has named the same starting 11 that beat Real Betis last week. Oya Olazabal in goal, Koke, Sergio Postiga, Robert Pierre, Antonio Garcia. The back four across the midfield, it is Jason, Jose Campaña, Cech Dacurre and the Macedonian international Enes Bardi. Bardi expected to play just in front of Dacurre and Campaña. Morales down one of the flanks, Roger Martí, the lone striker, up top. The referee for this evening, Alejandro José Hernández, the 35-year-old from Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. He's been a referee at the highest level of Spanish football since 2012 and a FIFA referee since 2014. Just one change in the Celta lineup from their draw against Espanyol. Sergio Alvarez is in goal. At the back, Facundo Roncaglia, Nestor Araujo and Gustavo Cabral, with Junior Alonso and Hugo Mayo, the wing-backs. A 4-man midfield on our graphic. Iago Aspas, Stanislav Lobotka, Fran Beltran and Pioni Sisto, and the lone frontman, Maxi Gomez. That one change I mentioned is Facundo Roncaglia coming into the defence to make a 3-man central defensive system for Mohamed and the visiting Celta Vigo. Out of the side goes Brais Mendes. He is on the bench tonight, along with the likes of Sofian Boufal, Emre Mor, David Costas, Ruben Blanco, the backup keeper, the young German striker Dennis Eckert, and Oke Yokuslu. Video assistant referee system is indeed in operation across La Liga Santander, and it really has proved to be an innovation that's gone down very well both last weekend and this weekend. Decisions given that nobody really could argue with, most notably perhaps in Espanyol's win over over Valencia rather. Esteban Granero, his free kick being shown to have crossed the line, and indeed the goal chalked off after Real Valladolid thought they'd scored a late equaliser against Football Club Barcelona. Keco shown to be offside. And indeed, I suppose we could mention Karim Benzema's second for Real Madrid, when there may have been some doubts as he netted after Gareth Bale picked him out in the centre. But let's turn our attentions away from the VAR and indeed back to the field here. It is a mild summer evening in the city of Valencia. And Celta Vigo will be looking to impress. Their head coach Antonio Mohamed said before the game that he knows how difficult it's going to be, but if they can put in an inspiring performance and come away from this game with something, then it really will start to build confidence in what he wants to achieve at Balaidos with his new team. So an early ball forward, and indeed an early corner for Celta Vigo will be taken over on that far side. Oyer organising his defence. Taken by captain Hugo Mayo into the near post. Robert Pierre for Levante nods away. The control in the midfield from Fran Beltran slightly lacking. But it will be a throw-in on the far side to the Galicians. Left for Facundo Roncaglia. It is often the way that when teams line up with three central defenders, they push the wing back up. And the central defenders are the players that take the throw-ins. Miscontrol there allows Levante back onto the ball. They gave it away, but win it back once more. Now here's Morales. The crowd rises. The Levante number 11 makes his way towards the edge of the area. Anyone who saw his goal against Real Betis last week, the second for Levante, will know exactly why the home team supporters want to see him on the ball running at the Celta Vigo defence. Play down the line. Here is Morales, and he takes it away from Roncaglia. I'm not sure he kept it in there. He does. The flag stays down. Roger Marti unable to connect on the rebound. Here's Koke pushing his way forward. Plays it across the face, and it's cleared away by Nestor Araujo. And perhaps Celta Vigo's opportunity to go forward, but Pione Sisto just slowing things down. Now, once a few moments on the ball, once again, Celta, you can see the energy that Levante have about them. As soon as they gain possession for the first time in this game, inside the first couple of minutes, they pressed up, vertical passing, didn't play it around the back four. It was straight into the Celta half, and everybody pressing up and trying to cause the visitors' defence some problems. Mr. Hernandez just saw something there that he didn't like. Well, if he was given for that arm up against Maxi Gomez, seemed a bit harsh. Let's have a look here whether the ball went out. It was very close, wasn't it? I think if that had ended up in the back of the net, we might have had the man up in the booth reviewing that particular incident. Long ball forward from right to left, fails to find its target and drifts all the way through to Sergio Alvarez, the 32-year-old Celta youth team product. Made his debut back in June of 2011 when Celta Vigo was still a second division side in Spanish football. These two coincided in the second division of Spanish football on numerous occasions around a decade ago. There were a couple of draws and one win each before Levante were eventually promoted at the end of the 2009-10 season. It took Celta another couple of years to regain their place in La Liga. That win in the second division in 2010, February of 2010, 1-0 here, was the last time that Levante actually defeated Celta de Vigo at home. Rafa Jordá scoring the only goal on that occasion. Since then, and since both teams have been in the Spanish top flight, of course, Levante a couple of years ago did drop back into the second, but only for a year. But in their last 8 games, or rather last 9 games I should say, against Levante, Celta have won on no less than 8 occasions. There is Francisco José López Fernández, better known as Paco López, thankfully, a local lad, calling him a lad at 50 years of age, but he was born down the road in Silla. He's certainly been around the houses in terms of coaching jobs before landing the role here at Levante in March, as Jason swings the ball in. It cannons off Araujo's legs and away. Paco Lopez was head of Villarreal, Valencia and Levante's B team. And a learning process that has eventually landed him a top job in La Liga Santander. So Levante with their first corner of the encounter. And see the likes of Sergio Postigo and Robert Pierre making their way into the opposition penalty area. Only 4 Levante players actually in the area, 2 on the edge. Now it looks like Coque is going to join the throng in the middle. Taken short by Jose Campaña, played all the way back to Morales. He's put something on that, hasn't he? Jose Campaña rather, looking for the run of Enis Bardi. Jose Campaña, who joined Levante back in 2016 and seems to have found a home here after several years wandering around Europe. Started with Sevilla, moved to England with Crystal Palace, loaned to Germany with Nuremberg, then to Sampdoria, who then loaned him out to Portuguese football with Porto. And after a stint with Alcorcon, landed at Ciutat de Valencia. Here is Morales looking to go past Néstor Araujo into the area, can't afford a tackle, instead a very good intervention, knocks it away and behind. The Celta defender, the Mexico international Araujo, appeals for a goal kick. Indeed, he does win his appeal. The referee feels that it came off Morales last, and no complaints from the Levante captain. So it will be Sergio who takes the long goal kick, looking out wide for the head of the summer signing. The Paraguay international Junior Alonso loses out, and Levante have the ball once again. So that very brief, bright start to the game that Celta had, pushing up and in possession. Very much on the back foot now, certainly for the last 5 or 6 minutes. It's Coque with the throw. Has checked the Corre available with the long pass, instead goes short to Campaña, and that's a poor attempt at a pass back straight to the feet of Maxi Gomez. But it's recovered ever so well by the backtracking Sergio Postigo to save his teammates' blushes there. Up and over the top, Morales thought he was through. Araujo did ever so well to stick out the boot and clear away. Did well to win that back without conceding a free kick as well. And there's a challenge by Alonso that does fell Morales and draws the referee's whistle. So a set-piece situation, almost a mini corner on this right flank for Los Granotas. It will be the set-piece specialist Enis Bardi. We have had brief examples of what he's capable of in La Liga Santander. Scored a couple of very good free kicks last term. It will be the 23-year-old to whip this in right-footed. 5 players on the far side of the area to aim at. And it goes, and it's headed away and behind in the end by Junior Alonso. Was it Cabral that had the last touch to nod it away in that group of sky blue shirts? A number of players missing for both sides. Emmanuel Boateng, the striker who joined Levante last summer, wasn't really used under Juan Muñiz as much as he would have liked. He failed to be given the green light to play in this encounter after undergoing surgery back in July. Hopes to be fit for the last game before the international break, as the corner was taken short. Ball into the box, failing to find its mark, and then the pass upfield by Celta, not finding Iago Aspas. Morales sends across a 50-50 ball, which Roncaglia wins. Now it's Celta with Maxi Gomez. Bione Sisto on the right of the area, closed down by Pierre and Bardi, battling away the Ugandan-born Denmark international, and does well to win the away side there. Second corner of the match. Armando Sadiku and Moses Simon also unavailable to head coach Paco Lopez for this encounter, while David Junca and Jensen carrying knocks and not available for Celta Vigo. So Hugo Maya once again right-footed, this time a real looping effort up into the area. Maxi Gomez can't make contact. Morales taken out by his opposite, number 11. It's a fantastic goal from Pione Sisto to give Celta Vigo the lead. A wonder strike. Took it past Morales, and the thunderbolt took Olazábal out of the equation, and we have the breakthrough in the 11th minute. Morales across, the push from Sisto took him into the area, and as many thought he was going to try and pick out a teammate, he had other ideas and fired the ball past Oyer and up into the top corner of the net, and that really is a stunning strike from Sisto. It'll take quite a while to become tired of watching that over and over. That really was a special effort. Levante fans came here this evening hoping to see something special, and I'm not sure they quite had that in mind, but all the Celta Vigo fans and indeed the neutrals watching, what a way to open the scoring here. So now a true test for Levante, the first goal they've conceded in La Liga Santander of the new campaign. It'll be very, very interesting indeed to see how they respond to going behind after just 10 minutes, and indeed, it could be argued, after having the better of the play in these opening 10 or 11 minutes. Here is Morales, comfortably tackled. The ball cleared, no one in a Celta shirt to receive it, so Postigo will roll it across to Robert. Decisive pass forward, flicked out wide, kept in by Coque on this near side. Sisto, the goal scorer, closing him down. Dakure sends it back. Now the pressing game from Celta can begin. That's a good pass though, the flick from Bardi, just a bit too fanciful in that situation. Dakure has it back. Robert Pierre tries the pass, and he does ever so well actually. Thought Hugo Maya might be looking to intercept the potential ball out to that left flank. Morales almost given a free roll in amongst all the attacking players that Levante have up there at the moment. Here he is on the ball into Roger Martí, who takes aim, but shot blocked at source. The pass back from Araujo caused a few pulses to be racing on the Celta bench, that's for sure. Bardi with the tackle. Celta scrambling to clear, eventually falls to Junior Alonso. Thought he'd got the better of Bardi, instead it was kept in. Now Jason looks up to the far post, and the nod down, nobody in the centre though. Roger, instead of going for goal, thought he would try and find a teammate. Selfless, but didn't realise that nobody was alongside him. Will the ball be kicked out? It looks like the referee is going to bring a halt to the play. He's in some trouble down there. Is Iago Aspas, looks to be in some real pain after being caught. Was holding his ankle initially, now appears to have that hands on the thigh. Let's have a look at where the... Oh, right down the Achilles, wasn't it? It was certainly unintentional from Robert Pierre, but the stud's just scraping down Aspas's ankle. That's going to be a painful one, certainly sore. There's a replay of the ball in. You see Roger Martí seemed to be well positioned to go for goal, but in the end decided to try and nod it down. Wasn't aware that he was alone on that far post. Whether that tear in the sock was caused by Aspas to have a look at his injury, or indeed by the stud, more than likely the stud, you can just see it there. Anyone who's played football at any level will know that kind of connection can certainly be painful. But on we go, and Aspas appears to have recovered. Here's Dakure for Levante. Looking for that ball out wide, and it has made its way through in the end, and there's a good piece of combination play. Bardi into the centre, taken under control by Morales, who turns and shoots comfortable enough for Sergio Alvarez, but full of confidence. The Levante number 11, and indeed the Levante forwards, good combination play, creating the opportunity. Morales deciding if you don't buy a ticket, you're not going to win the lottery, and tried his luck. High ball forward for Celta. Maxi wanted in the air, couldn't find Aspas. Now Sisto looking to close down Dakurde, out wide. Oh, and Jason produces the nutmeg. Wonderful piece of skill from him. Not able to then connect with Roger Marti, but that drew an ooh from the crowd. Through the legs of Junior Alonso. Paraguayan won't be too thrilled about being embarrassed. Quite like that. Levante give up possession. Sisto to Alonso. Seems to have recovered his pride ever so quickly and lays it up the line once more to Sisto. 1-2. Now across to the far side. And Levante will have to find a way through this three-man central defence. Last weekend against Espanyol, Antonio Mohamed, the Argentinian head coach, former Argentina international himself, went with a back four, wasn't convinced, and decided for his first away game to revert to three at the back, arguably five, depending on the demands placed on Hugo Mayo and Junior Alonso when it comes to their defensive duties. You can see down below us how far Junior Alonso is up the field. In fact, that ball is played up and over the top, and he's almost in the wing-back position, or in the winger's position, and there's a ball up and over. Cleared away, and Levante living very dangerously indeed. Sisto not putting enough on that. Then the clearance inside the area, almost causing a problem. Oyer out, doesn't put the ball out of play. Sisto goes for goal. And that connection there, none too convincing either. But in the end, it is a goal kick. It will be Oyer Olazábal. Thought about going short, but in the end, due to a number of Celta players in front of him, sends it long, comfortably won back. Diego Aspas into feet, unable to control though, Hugo Mayo. Bardi then dispossessed. Levante just unable to hold on to the ball once they have it. Outside of the boot, nonchalantly across to this near side. Paco Lopez on the edge of his technical area, directing operations, trying to get his message across, what he wants from the side. High ball up and over will go all the way through to Oyer. Hugo Mayo also told by Mohamed that he can push right up, and is playing most of his football in the Levante half, leaving the defending to others. It does depend, of course, on which side the ball is. As you can see at the moment, Mayo very advanced. Junior Alonso dropping back to mark Jason, and they will switch depending on whether Levante choose to come down the right or the left, or indeed when Levante or when Celta are in possession, vice versa. Postigo across to Pierre, into the feet of Jose Campaña. Now Dakurde will look to move it on, sprays it across to this near side. Coque, Jorge Andujar Moreno, as his birth certificate would read, plays the ball forward. Morales tries to, well, I think he tried to put the ball in between defender and goalkeeper, ended up aiming it straight into the arms of Sergio Alvarez. Roger was powering in at the back post, not able to find him. Clever pass out from Sergio, laid it down on the floor, invited the Levante player forward before just clipping it to the left wing. Araujo goes upfield, and Levante just aren't really getting close enough to win any of these aerial duels. Here's Aspas, Mayo on the overlap. Maxi Gomez attacking the near post, and another opportunity for Celta. And you can tell by the striker's reaction how good a chance that actually was. Failed to connect with it. Ball whipped in first time, and that really is a very, very good opportunity for Celta Vigo to double their lead. Just got his toes on the end of it, but another move that opened up the Levante rearguard. In fact, saying that that's the first goal that Levante have scored this or conceded this season, it's also officially the first goal that Celta Vigo have scored. Of course, their equaliser against Espanyol was put down as an own goal by David Lopez. Stanislav Lobotka, so highly rated, so influential last season. His arrival steadying the Celta midfield under Juan Carlos Unzué. Touted with a move away from Celta Vigo in the summer after only one season at Balaidos. English Premier League side Tottenham Hotspur rumoured to be interested and prepared to make a bid, but it was never forthcoming, and so the 23-year-old former Nordsjælland playmaker, or indeed combative midfielder, not sure what you'd describe Lobotka as, maybe not a playmaker, he certainly is there to win the tackles and lay the ball off. Can also put in a pass. Here's Jason for Celta, does ever so well to keep going through, eventually helped out by Bardi. There's the ball into the area, now another opportunity in the game, and this one goes to Levante. Roger connected with it, down into the ground, but up and over the crossbar. It's a good ball in this from Morales. I think I may have credited Bardi with the cross, it was certainly Morales, and there going for the textbook downward header into the ground to beat the keeper, but put too much on it, and that connected with the floor, too far from the goal, but proof that Levante yet again can find a way through. A scuffed clearance. Aspas quickly onto it. Now Maxi Gomez making his way towards the area, rolls it across to Mayo. Mayo then puts it back up and over to the far side, and it's cleared away and behind by Koke. 31-year-old who joined Levante in the summer on a permanent basis after spending the second half of last season on loan. Daniel Vass among the spectators. Not involved today. Of course, now playing his football just down the road for Valencia. Let's have a look at his former teammates. Back out to Maya from the corner, and he tries to bend it round the crowd in front of him. Instead, curls it up and over the crossbar and away. Certainly see what the intention was, but the execution was somewhat off from what he intended. Another groan from the crowd as Levante give up possession far too easy. Another long-range drive. There were 5 Celta players in front of Fran Beltran, and instead of looking for one of them and trying to build the move, the 19-year-old who Celta paid €8 million for in the summer from Rayo Vallecano went for goal himself, and similar outcome to that of the shot that Mayo had just a few moments before. Levante very spaced out here. 3 players on that left flank, Roger in the middle. Now perhaps Morales can do something, but as he tries to, it ricochets off him. Good defending, and behind for another goal kick. On their travels, Celta Vigo haven't had much luck, but their last away win came back in May when they won 4-2 Well, that was at home when they won 4-2 against the side they're playing tonight. Koke will indeed retrieve this for a throw to Levante. Leading options. It just seems Levante are a bit too far apart. The lines just need closing up somewhat. It can work, this expansive football, but Celta at the moment doing a good job of closing down, outnumbering Levante in midfield and winning the aerial duels. There's a ball up to Morales, does ever so well to win. Got in front of Gustavo Cabral. Battling away Enes Bardi. And do keep hold of it with Morales. Twists and turns himself out of trouble and away from Mayo. Off goes Morales. 1-2 sends the Levante captain back the other way. I'm not sure he wanted it. Frustration. He's not going to say anything to his teammate, but the pass back to him from Bardi ensured that he'd have to turn back on himself, Morales, and in the end ran himself into a cul-de-sac, and Celta Vigo have the ball. Home fans none too happy with the amount of time Roncaglia took over taking that, but I doubt whether Celta Vigo already considering running down the clock here as we are about to enter the 27th minute. Oyer though with a stray pass. Still the fans just about on side for Levante. There was the odd groan, but they don't want to be critical. Still very early days yet here. This is certainly a more encouraging performance from Celta Vigo, it has to be said, than for the majority of their game against Espanyol, particularly in the second half when the Blanquiblau really took the game to their opponents in Balaidos. There's a power on, both players tumble over, and it is a free kick to the away side here. Mr. Hernandez deciding the challenge on Roncaglia by Tonio Garcia was a foul, rather than the other way round. Looked a bit 50-50 from up here, but not the man with the whistle, and he's given the free kick the way of Celta. Again, Maxi the target. Robert Pierre on this occasion winning the ball. Neuer reading the situation, scurrying off his line, claiming it back. Forward it goes, and an unchallenged header once again. Sisto hasn't been too heavily involved since that wonderful goal gave the visitors the lead 11 minutes into this game. And there you can see an example of the lines being stretched. Roger Marti a long way from the four-man midfield behind him. They're moving in lines. Now the two banks of four on the edge of the area for Levante. Ball's whipped in over Maxi Gomez, goes over somewhat theatrically, has a look round and receives a few jeers from the crowd. A real bargain signing, Maxi Gomez, €4 million from Defensor Sporting, the Uruguay international. There was talk of him going to China in the January transfer window after only 6 months up in Galicia. But that move seemed to fizzle out, and everybody at Balaidos delighted that indeed it did. Sergio sends this one long. No thoughts of a clever clip out to the flanks. Get it upfield now. Dakure. Lobotka staying true to his task. Ivory Coast international eventually getting himself stuck running into traffic, but does come away with a throw-in for Levante. Born in Ivory Coast, check Dakure. Represented France at under 18 and indeed under 19 level before being called up by the country of his birth to represent them at full international level. Koke to Morales. Morales looking for a way through. Jose Campaña, another touch, the second or third of the game from a Levante player, which would have looked great if it had come off, but when it doesn't, you have to question whether flicks and skill such as that have their time and place. Appeals for a handball. Nothing doing, said the referee. Is it? The ball ricocheted up off Beltran. Morales turns one way, then the other. Now Coque only has one man to aim for in the centre. His cross blocked. Campagna battling away. Still Levante have it. De Corday. That's a good ball out wide. Bit of space here for Coque. Closed down, but he'll get the cross into the near post. Flick to the edge of the area, and the first time shot into the arms of Sergio Alvarez. Good hit from Enes Bardi. Fairly central in the end. Sergio just having to take a couple of steps to his left. To pull that into his chest and go to ground. Having got the ball out to the flanks though, Levante don't push players from the midfield into the area to make targets. It's Roger Marti or nothing, it appears. Paco Lopez though, I'm sure will be addressing all these things in his mind as this game goes on, trying to solve the conundrum set to him by the Celta Vigo lineup. Here is De Corday once again. Looked like it was going to be a good turn. And a free kick conceded. De Corday going in too hard on Lobotka. Those two having a battle royale in the centre of this midfield. Indeed, as has been seen across La Liga Santander, wasn't evidence in Real Madrid's game away against Girona last weekend, but if the temperature rises above around 27-28 degrees pitch side, then a water break, or indeed a cooling break, as you can see the graphic there officially deeming it, is called. And I've got to say, Paco Lopez will be the happier of the two coaches to be able to have a word up close and personal with his players and reiterate what exactly he wants from them, and maybe make one or two tweaks. Drinking bottles of water that do look particularly cold. I remember I was always advised against drinking very cold water to avoid stomach cramps, but I'm sure that Levante and Celta doctors and physios know better than me. Here is the goal once again, and it certainly is worth at least one more look at. Raul Morales, the leader last week, but caught out, and that really is stunning. Whether the goalkeeper can be criticised, I don't want to spoil what is a very, very good strike indeed by picking up on what Levante could have done better. It takes real technique and ability to strike the ball quite so cleanly. Sisto enjoying that one. Wasn't at his best last week, and discussions between he and the coach. He was substituted in that game against Espanyol, and there were even some question marks over whether he would appear this evening, but he's appeared, and certainly to great effect. So the players suitably cooled, and play can now resume. That took around 2 minutes, so as has been the case, as I mentioned, in other games, we will see at least those 2 minutes added on to the end of this first half. It will be a Celta Vigo free kick to get us up and underway once more into the area. Maxi wins it, but going to nod the ball calmly into the arms of Oyer. Oyer, a goalkeeper that associated strongly with FC Barcelona, of course, and their B side with him. He spent 6 years before moving on to Granada, but originally played for Real Union, having been born in Irún in the Basque country. She had loan spells with Real Sociedad and Levante before joining Las Granotas permanently. Now on the edge of the area, Campagna tries to squeeze it through, blocked out though. Here is Lobotka rolling the ball to Sisto. Lobotka will edge it back on to the man who scored the only goal of this game. Aspas was there. What a pass that is for Maxi Gomez, and it is 2-0. Levante's defence undone once again, and once again Pione Sisto plays a pivotal role. A very, very smart finish from Maxi Gomez. Under Olasabal into the corner of the net. It was a wonderful breakaway. Lobotka instrumental. He and Sisto combining well down this left flank. Sisto taking off across the area. What about that for a pass? The ball flicked up and then calmly put inside Oyer's near post. The goalkeeper will not be happy about that. First look, I thought it had gone under him, but instead, oh, it's tucked in. He had the smallest of gaps in which to aim there, didn't he, Maxi Gomez? And that is another very, very good finish. Not as spectacular as the first, but my word. And it is Levante 0, Celta Vigo 2. Pione Sisto is already lining himself up as man of the match here. And Levante now have, even though we're only in the 35th minute, the proverbial mountain to climb. Try not to use too many cliches, as they are a bit old hat. Challenge goes in. Bardi comes away with it. These Levante fans who watched from bars and indeed their homes last weekend as their side defended stoutly, kept Real Betis at bay, and then in the second half hit them with 3 goals. Well, coming here this evening, I think, almost expecting a home win. There's certainly no arrogance or feeling that they are better than they are, but I think they had a feeling that they were on the cusp of something good, especially under Paco Lopez, and the end of the season, of course, that he managed with the home side here. But instead, it is Antonio Mohamed and his Celta Vigo side who have stayed strong at the back. Levante have had their chances, but they haven't been clear-cut. Maybe Roger Martí and that downward header, the best of them. But both Pione Sisto and Maxi Gomez have been clinical in front of goal. With 8 minutes to go before the end of the 45, in fact probably 10 as I mentioned because of the cooling break. The away side are very much in command of this one. So a free kick on the right flank. It'll be sent in left-footed into the area. On that occasion, nobody in a light blue shirt anywhere near it. Lobotka wins it back. Over the top it goes. Controlled by Mayo. Looks to try and skip round. That ball had clearly gone out and the flag was raised. No video assistant referee required to show that Iago Aspas couldn't keep that in. Aspas, of course, a player called up late and then made the Spain World Cup squad, and after last weekend's display, many wondering what kind of job Jose Luis Morales might have done if he'd been on the plane to Russia. Might have offered something a little bit different to Spain, rather. 31 years of age. Got a feeling it might take something very, very special for El Comandante, for Luis Enrique, to pick up the phone and dial his number at this stage. Now free kick for Levante. A goal back for them before the break would certainly boost everybody in the claret and blue inside the stadium here tonight. Bardi lifting it across to the far post. Challenge goes in and it's nodded away and behind. Facundo Roncaglia not allowing Coque enough space to nod it back across goal. And questions to be answered by that man there. He's done it before. We even saw a comeback that's required here of similar proportions at the weekend. Of course, Real Sociedad were 2 goals ahead away against Leganés in Butarque. Nabil El Zar, the cucumber growers' hero on that day, scoring twice in the second half to salvage a point for Maurizio Pellegrino's side. Turn from Iago Aspas, runs into Check Dacouré. Morales will receive that, looks to move it on, tries to go round his man but just overstepped it. And a good challenge indeed from Nestor Araujo. In the midfield, Fran Beltran. Alonso, oh, that's a good challenge from Dacouré, won it back superbly, and that's lifted the crowd ever so slightly. Jason trying to buffet his way through, pass not precise, but it does come out to Bardi, has two to aim for in the area. Bardi left footed, goes for goal, and it's deflected away and behind. Good opportunity. Maybe should have put the cross in first time. Knew what he was doing though. That's a wonderful challenge in midfield from Dacouré. There's a very good ball laid out wide. Morales and Roger both waiting in the centre. Eventually Bardi's shot headed away by Araujo. Bardi, the man who had that shot, will send this over on his preferred right foot. Not a bad corner. Headed clear though. A long way clear. The long range shot comes back in. Robert Pierre wasn't offside. Just saw the ricochet fall away from his teammate in the centre there. Dacouré across. Koke. Bardi stayed out wide. Instead Koke lifts it up and into the area. It's another good win in the air there. Sisto turns away from Cabral. Gonna say at the back. Sergio Alvarez in goal for Celta, stands at 1m79, 5'10". Facundo Roncaglia the same height. And then you go forward to Gustavo Cabral at 6 feet, 1m83. Nestor Araujo, the tower back there, at 6'3", 1m89. So varying heights, but they seem to be dominating in the air, Celta at the moment. In midfield, however, Fran Beltran and Stanislav Lobotka both standing at 1m70, 5'7". So not reliant on aerial strength in the midfield. There's Pione Sisto. It's a very good pass forward, and now it's 5 against 6 at the back with a touch there. Vital. Oh, and Koke has done. Junior Alonso. Jason nutmegged him before. He's been nutmegged twice in the same game. Up and over. It's far too inviting though for Sergio Alvarez. Training ground practice in the end as Sergio just came off his line. Oh dear, oh dear. An evening to forget this for Junior Alonso in terms of one-on-one duels. Koke on that occasion not able to stop Maxi Gomez. Here's Iago Aspas. Maxi Gomez leaving it for Pione Sisto. Sisto though determined to put it back onto his right, was tackled and has won Celta another corner. No sunglasses this week. Suit somewhat toned down from Antonio Mohamed. Many comments in the Spanish media after the game about his first day appearance. Looking more subdued though, the 48-year-old from Buenos Aires. But also I expect inside all the more delighted. The corner comes in, headed up and away. It'll be 2 in quick succession for the visitors. Sisto will have a second bite at the cherry. 5 Celta players in the area. Into the near post it goes, flicked on. Will be recovered on that far side. Mayo across to Lobotka. Lobotka has a look. Right up and over. Met by Junior Alonso, but as soon as he rose in the air, the flag raised on the far side and the referee's whistle sounds for the offside. Celta dropping back. You can see their defensive unit falling into place. And look across the Levante side. It's about trying to play balls through those lines. That's their style, but there's so little to aim at. As I've been saying, maybe at half-time a few tweaks from Paco Lopez, maybe moving the midfield slightly nearer to the forwards, maybe dropping Morales back as the man to combine midfield with Roger Martí. Fran Beltran. Turned and caught right in front of the referee there. Started out with Getafe's youth team, Fran Beltran. Moved on to Rayo Vallecano and was considered a member of their first team. Of course, helped the team from Vallecas to promotion back to the first division for the first time following 2 years in the Segunda A. And then Rayo unable to turn down the offer from Celta when it came in there after the 2 minutes for the water break, added on by the fourth official. Koke moving himself out wide. Sisto keeping an eye out as it goes back across. Now into the midfield. As Bardi moved forward, the covering play of Beltran and Sisto ensured the pass couldn't find him. Koke into the midfield. Campagna. This is well worked. Jason needs a decent cross and he doesn't provide one. Drifts away and behind. So the delivery from Levante when they have got the ball out wide hasn't been of the highest order. The one cross in that's really found its mark was the one from Morales. Roger heading over. Maxi Gomez again there, winning the ball in the air now. Sisto, if Levante were to score or Celta were to score a third before the break, that really would put the, I was going to say, cat amongst the pigeons here, whether the fans would decide to turn on their own team. As it was though, Sisto's shot proved to be fairly ineffective straight at Oyer. There is that gap again. The midfield has the ball, the three front men good 20 yards away from them. That's a decent pass out wide though. Koke takes a touch. His cross is deep. There's a whole host of Celta players waiting for it. Morales lays it back and the shot comes in up and over the crossbar. And that may well be that for the first half. Enis Bardi taking aim, swinging his boot at it. Knocked down from Morales. It was Bardi's left foot. And before the goal kick can indeed be taken, the referee, Mr. Hernandez, puts his whistle to his lips and brings the opening 45 minutes of this encounter to a close. And it is an opening 45 minutes which will very much please Celta de Vigo and their new head coach Antonio Mohamed. Pione Sisto opening the scoring in the 11th minute, and then he provided the pass, as you're going to see now, for Maxi Gomez. It really was wonderful defence, splitting is the only term for it, and a very, very calm finish from the Uruguayan striker to make it 2-0 in the 36th minute of the game. Celta in control then as we leave you here for the half-time interval at Ciutat de Valencia with a scoreline of Levante 0, Celta de Vigo 2. Join us again in a few minutes for the second half. Hello and welcome back to Ciutat de Valencia. Half-time scoreline. Levante 0, Celta Vigo 2. Goals from Pione Sisto and Maxi Gomez, ensuring that the away side start with a real advantage going into the second period. This, of course, the penultimate game of match day 2 in La Liga Santander. The action kicked off on Friday night with a 2-0 home win for Getafe against Eibar. And then, as I mentioned in the first half, Real Sociedad taking a 2-goal lead away against Leganés, only to be pegged back by 2 second-half goals from Nabil El Sar. 0-0 draw for Betis at Alaves. Atletico, thanks to Antoine Griezmann's goal, beating Rayo Vallecano on Saturday evening. And the late game on the same day saw Barca win away in the José Zorrilla against Real Valladolid. Espanyol, of course, was one of the surprises of the weekend as they beat Champions League competitors Valencia in the RCD Stadium yesterday before Real Madrid ran out 4-1 winners away against Girona. No repeat of the heroics of last year from the Catalans. And at the same time, with the game having been put back due to the heat down in Andalusia, Sevilla drawing 0-0 with Villarreal. And of course, one final game still to come for you from this weekend, and that also is a highly tantalising prospect. It is the newcomers Huesca. They're away again as renovations to their Alcaraz Stadium go on. They travel north to San Mamés to play Athletic Club. So the players here preparing for the second half. No doubt Paco Lopez will have had some strong words for his players, perhaps trying to get them to close the lines, which I said more than once in the first half, but realistically not really playing as a team together. Let's word it like that in the first half for Celta Vigo, though no doubt Antonio Mohamed would have asked for more of the same. You can see lining up to come on, the number 8 there, Sanjin Persic, 24-year-old who joined Levante in the summer from French side Rennes. Had a couple of loan spells in Italy with Torino and Perugia, but now the France-born Bosnia and Herzegovina international about to be given a taste of La Liga Santander football. There is the announcement of his arrival on the field of play. So we're all set for the start of the second half. Persic making his debut last weekend away against Betis as he came on in that game also. Roger Marti just having his studs tightened before making his way back out. It'll be very interesting to see, I did say this after the first goal as well, but how Levante react. Of course, they held Betis to 0-0 at half-time last week and did all the damage in the second half. Now they face a slightly different prospect, but they do need to score 3 times once again. One statistic from last week's game was the fact that it was only the second time in their history that they'd scored 3 goals on the opening day of the season in the Spanish top flight Levante. The last time and the only other time came back in 1963. Here's an opportunity now for Morales. Roger going through the middle, played in, Roger up and over the bar, and that arguably Levante's best chance of the encounter so far. And what a start to the second half it would have been. I'm not sure Morales can quite believe it. Perfectly weighted ball. It will encourage Levante, but a goal would have encouraged them even further. It did seem to just bobble up as it connected with Roger's foot. Paco Lopez can't believe it on the sidelines, but the first chance of the second period going to the home side. Celta will have to settle themselves down. They'll be expecting a fight back, no doubt about it. They'll have to be slightly more secure than that, though. Levante on the ball once again. Persic with his first touches into the feet of Jose Campaña. Just to confirm, for anyone who wasn't actually watching, of course it is Cheick Doucouré who has gone off. Sanjin Persic rather, who is indeed on. And look at that, it really is a full house here. Not quite full, but a very, very good turnout for the final weekend in August. And one also has to say, Levante, not a club that will attract a large number of tourists. Certainly not disrespectful, it's just the fact that nearly every one of these fans inside this ground will be behind the Levante team with all their might. The odd Celta Vigo fan, whether they live in and around the area or indeed have splashed the cash to fly down here. Quite a difficult trip across from Galicia, or quite a long trip by any other method of transport. Celta trying to bustle their way through the midfield there. Lobotka having his eye taken off the ball there. Good skills from Bardi. That's a decent ball out to the far side as well for Koke. Pass into the feet of Jason. They'll want to cross from this for Levante. The turn and attempted ball into the middle, deflected away for a throw. Levante remain on the front foot, however. Throw-in taken short. Bardi forced back. Here is Campagna. Got to say, in the first half, Levante, even though we're only 3 minutes into the second half, didn't really have much of the possession inside of Celta's half, where the game calmed down. They were able to move it around and probe the Celta defence, but obviously the away side coming out in this second period, try and close things up. They've got that 2-goal lead. They don't need to take any risks, don't need to press men forward, can try and play on the break. And Maxi Gomez winning virtually everything in the air. They are likely to have further opportunities. Hugo Mayo up there as well. Another, got to say, poor clearance by Oyer. Not the first time he's done that. You can see there Robert Pierre not convinced about going back to the keeper. Instead, it is left to Postigo to send that one long. Roger Martí giving chase, but met by Araujo. Goes for the safe option and knocks it out of play on that far side. Bardi again having more influence at the start of this second half. Roger tackled, however. And it is the man who lit up the first half with that first goal, and indeed that glorious pass for the second. Sisto leading the way. That high ball forward, slightly aimless though, and falls kindly at the feet of Robert. Perisic up and over the top. Morales will collect and take on Facundo Roncaglia and wins Levante the corner. And appeals by the Celta central defender for a corner falling on deaf ears. He had a bit of a case maybe. So 9 corners in all. This is the 4th for Levante. Despite the presence of Bardi, he's going to be lifted into the area. Close to the keeper, decided not to come, headed up and away by Maxi Gomez. In the end, Roncaglia puts his boot through it. Sisto doesn't win that, Koke does. Knocked down by Bardi, kept in on this now, he didn't keep it in. The flag raised almost immediately. Levante may be assured by the fact that they do have, or have had, the majority of possession. 45 for the visitors, 55 for the hosts in terms of percentage and time on the ball. But it is still to have a throw-in right in front of the Levante head coach Paco Lopez. Now Iago Aspas waiting for the overlap, eventually clips it across. It's not a bad ball for Junior Alonso into the centre. Maxi Gomez turns one way then the other and then goes for goal. The low grass cutter though comfortably dealt with by Oyer Olasabal. Turn back, produced the left-footed drive, aiming for that far corner. It was on target. That ball not quite so accurate, all the way through to Sergio. The a leading role that Morales no doubt will have run through in his head, not quite coming to fruition as yet. Levante will be hoping that he steps forward. Throwing to be taken by Tonio. Bustled and buffeted over, and the referee decides it was handball. Roger not fouled, grabbed the ball. The arms were most certainly up, I've got to say. Went over somewhat dramatically, but it looked like it was going to be given a free kick the other way, given as a free kick the other way rather. Said it's the away side in possession. Closed down quickly. Did well to get himself out of a corner there. Did Fran Beltran. That's a good knock from Persic to play it back out to that far side. Down the line it goes for the run of Koke. His low pass though connects with the Celta defender and it's cleared away. Maxi on that occasion unable to hold the ball up, takes a tumble beyond Aspas. Lobotka wins it back. Aspas nods it forward. Here is Lobotka once more. Good intricate play from Celta to get themselves out of a crowded area, and there's a very good ball across this near side for Roncaglia. Puts it back in. Sure, Lobotka won't necessarily have appreciated that particular pass. Beltran feeds it across to the far side. Sisto turns or tackle one back. Persic already impressing, I've got to say. A couple of interventions. There's a good run, but the ball played up and over. Pardi on the left foot. Oh, he pulls it back onto the right. Does manage to hold it up. Crowd baying for a penalty. VAR will look at it. And only then will the referee be advised, but doesn't look like anything's going to happen. Levante continue trying to press, this time down the right. There's the low ball in, and the shot from Morales straight at Sergio Alvarez. Got to say, Levante have certainly had chances in this encounter. And there's another one. Not a firm enough a connection from Morales. Reacted to it on the stretch. They are taking the fight to Celta Vigo. Sisto rounded. There's the ball forward for Morales. Nodded on to, or nudged on rather, to Baldi. That's another good tackle. And sprayed out wide left to Tonio. Racing towards Roncaglia. Puts it straight at the Argentina international. Levante have themselves a throw, and this attacking intent has lifted the spirits of the crowd. They may be 2 goals behind, but hope is still very, very much alive here of a comeback. Get lucky there. Off Iago Aspas, spins into the arms of their goalkeeper, and Celta can just regroup ever so slightly. A few whistles for the amount of time being taken, and eventually the ball is dispatched to this near side. Aspas goes to Roncaglia, and he's immediately under pressure. Lobotka plays it back, and it's not just about pressure from Levante, a credit to them, it's also inaccuracies from Celta, being almost rushed into these passes. Roger edges across to the far side, starting the closing down procedure again. And there it is, on evidence immediately. Jason winning it back from Sisto. Tries to go past Beltran, another appeal, another loud shout. And again waved away. Linesman didn't see it, referee didn't give it. Tonio forward. Bardi will put this onto his right. Hugo Mayo back. Whipped over to the far post, but too much on it. Roger came in, away and behind. Celta, or rather Levante, have left a large number of players out of this squad. No handball there, most certainly. The likes of Eric Kabako, Nikola Vukcevic, Ivan Lopez, Esteban Saveljevic, Berta, Javier Espinosa and Samu Garcia, also all not included. How many of those will remain at the club after the transfer window closes remains to be seen. Well, the likes of Jozabet, Claudio Beauview, Andrew Hulseger even. And Nemanja Radoja all rested by Antonio Mohamed, and according to all reports in the Galician media today, those 4 players may well be on their way. Good turn from Sisto. Celta finally holding the ball up in the Levante half, just taking the pressure off their own back 4. Lobotka now into Sisto, he'll turn. Junior Alonso wide left, eventually does clip it over, and it's held up extremely well. Allows the wing back to get onto it and then thumped up and over, and it's just too long. Certainly had the pace, thought it had the angle. And now indeed another change, and it will be Rafael Duamena to come on for Levante. 6.2 million euros to bring him in from FC Zurich. And he will replace Jason. Provided the pass for Roger Martí last week. I think it was actually for Morales, thinking back, for the 3rd goal, but it is Jason who's off, and it is Rafael Duamena who is now on and into the fray. Ghana international, who started with Red Bull Ghana, moved on to Red Bull Salzburg, had a stint with Austria Lustenau, and then Zurich last season before Levante splashed the cash to bring him to Ciutat de Valencia. Here's the other substitute already on the field, Sanjin Persic. You can hear the crowd has enjoyed the spirit being shown by the home side in this second period so far. Gone is the frustration and the murmurs of discontent that were heard in that opening period. Persic all the way across to the far side for Koke. Okay, having a look round, plays it into the feet of Roger Martí. Good ball out to the far side, first time cross in, cleared away. Excellent positioning from Nestor Araujo to clear that one. Ball falls to Aspas, as they have done almost every 50-50 ball so far since the break. Levante win it and in turn win back possession. Bar of the edges forward. Oh, that's a poor pass. Cut out by Ugo Mayo, who produces an equally inaccurate ball upfield. Bardi steps over. Campagna spreads the play across. Celta dropping back, every player behind, well, in their own half. Aspas and Maxi not quite yet behind the ball. Down the line, will it be allowed to run for a corner? Domena tried his best to make that so, but it was well kept in. In the end, the throw-in is won by Levante on that far side. Koke looking for options. Morales close to him. Instead, it goes down the line for Domena, and it just rises up and hits the 22-year-old on the arm. There. Spotted by the linesman, 10 yards in front of where that happened, so the free kick will be taken by Sergio Alvarez. Aspas, who played on the right in the first half and seems to be taking up a more central role in this second period. He's in the middle now. Aspas on the far side. Sisto turns it back to Mayo. Back to Roncaglia. Lobotka tells him to go home. In his last 6 games, or in the 6 games that he's played against Levante, Aspas has had a hand in 8 goals, scored 4 times and produced 4 assists. Not involved in either of the 2 that the away side have scored so far this evening. If indeed Levante were able to score 3 second-half goals here tonight, as they did against Real Betis, it would be the first time in their history that they've won their opening 2 games in the Spanish top flight. But that is an awful lot to ask, and that man there is determined that his side see this one out. Koke, arms aloft, edging his way forward. Not a good ball into the air in the end. Hand up by way of an apology. Found neither Duamena or Roger. Instead, straight into the arms of a very grateful Sergio. The final ball in on some occasions has been of top quality. Let down by the finishing. On others, the pass into the box has been lacking. Here is Bardi. Always brought down there by Hugo Mayo, and that may well be the first booking of the game, and indeed it is for the Celta Vigo captain. So Hugo Mayo has his name taken by Alejandro Jose Hernandez. Arms up. Okay, Bardi the excuse to go over. Not quite sure. Hugo Mayo pointing at the ball. He didn't even make contact with it, but convinced nobody, including the referee, and the number 2 is now embossed in the referee's book. Bardi and Campagna discussing options. You can see close up just how warm it is down there on the players' faces. Put in by Tonio from the left, straight to Mayo, who clears only as far as Koke once again. Campagna trying to rid himself of the attention of his sister. There's a good flick. Bardi on his weaker left foot cuts in on the right. Will eventually look to lift it up and over behind the 2 men in the centre. Persic across. Will Morales look to hit it? Goes one way then the other. Left-footed drive, and I think that hit Duamena. It did. Spins away behind. Goal kick. Ambitious effort from Morales. Sergio started to go the right way, would have been caught out had that deflection sent the ball into the right-hand corner of the net. As it was, he was very grateful as he saw it go wide of his far post. Sisto into Lobotka. Beltran out to the far side for Junior Alonso. Alonso having a look in the area. Aspas just failed to control and had it nicked off his toe there by Koke. Bardi does well, gets himself out of a tight situation. Levante need to get the ball forward quickly, however, having taken so many Celta players away. Dropping back now, and as you can see, Levante across the halfway line with those 2 banks of 4 ready to go. Sisto wins it back. Starts running at the Levante rear guard. Play on, says the referee. Sisto will pick himself up. Aspas. Lobotka. Moved on well here. Roncaglia. Mayo goes back. Lobotka makes himself available. And there's a glorious pass. Hugo Mayo will be looking for someone to send it. What about that for a tackle though? Antonio Garcia, 28-year-old former Recre man, sliding in and just overcooking it. Challenge made. Referee says free kick. And there will be yet another change down below us, and it looks like it will be Sofiane Boufal who will come on. There are the Celta Vigo contingency, and it is Iago Aspas, who hasn't had his most impressive game. It's the first time, as I mentioned, he hasn't either set up or scored a goal against Levante in his career. The 24-year-old Morocco international on in his place. Started with Angers, having been born and raised in the French capital of France, French capital of Paris rather. On to Lille, on to Southampton, and now on loan at Celta Vigo from St Mary's. Sisto brings the ball under control on the halfway line. his way forward there. Buffal finds Sisto and the free kick conceded. Clumsy that from Levante. Frustration from Koke. Just there. A challenge from Jose Campaña. Looks like Ruben Rochina may be introduced into the action. Whether that's for Jose Campaña, we'll have to see. Discussions over who will be taking this and what's going to happen. I've got a feeling he may go directly for goal here. Pione Sisto. It's a good angle for him. Does go for goal off the crossbar from Sisto. Almost another wonder strike. Back into the area it goes. Off the post again. Second time in quick succession. The woodwork saves Levante from falling further behind. On this occasion it's Nestor Araujo. Two wonderful opportunities to really put the game to bed for Celta. The ball back in from Fran Beltran. What a save that is. Moya just threw anything he could in front of it. To the woodwork and the goalkeeper, ensuring Levante didn't go 3-0 down. Playing their way out of trouble here. Clipped forward. Oh, Roger took his eye off that. He thought it wasn't going to come to him. Instead, Beltran turns himself out of a situation ever so well. And the Botka and Celta growing into this game now, into this half rather. Here comes Sisto, running at the Levante defence. Keeps going, eventually Hugo Mayo, two at the back post. No offside, into the middle. Cleared away by Persic. Now Koke, looking upfield for options. Goes long. Blamena chests it down, but gives it straight back to the opposition. And having sat back for the opening 20 minutes of this game, Celta really are beginning to take it to Levante once again. Sisto wins it back. Roncaglia closed down by Roger and forced to go back to Sergio. Now Morales turns, faces up to the Celta defence, begins one of those mazy runs, but not his evening at the moment. Having his pocket picked far too easily there. Sofian Buffal rises the challenger. Persic keeps going, starts making his way along the edge of the area. If he can get a shot away here, just waits for the overlap. Hugo Mayo doesn't have much to aim for, goes for goal himself, well wide of the mark though. Nobody in a light blue shirt racing to get level with the skipper on that occasion. Wonderful free kick. If that had crept in off the underside of the bar, or thundered in as it should be said. Oh yeah, was well and truly beaten, but not on the follow-up. So Rochina on, and here's Enis Bardi who's gone off. So a change in the attacking formation. Ruben Rochina wearing the number 16 shirt, 27 years of age. Started out with Valencia at a very young age and moved north to Barca and Barca's B-side before trying his luck in England with Blackburn Rovers. A couple of loan spells back in Spain. Robert Pierre sends it home. No back pass though, says the referee. No real complaints in the stands, of course. Here's Campaña. Looking for Duamena, inaccurate. Duamena does ever so well though to win it back. Levante need to rally the fans once more. Just those lines becoming separated again. Three players towards the edge of the area. Tonya will look up, see two of them, and ricochets away and behind. To another set piece. Tonya receives it, looks back, sees Rochina. Instead, Morales will move it on. Tonya now. Low and hard into the centre, the Botka well placed. blocks it out. Chest down from Campagna. All good skills from Rochina to turn it back into the path of Roger Marti. Tried to feed it through. Again, Levante get the luck with the bounce. Persic across to this near side. Campagna on his right. Tonio standing and waiting. Rochina keeps going. Tonio takes the touch. Mayo tries to block it out. In it comes. Didn't have a lot of power in it. Roger Martin. It's a good save from Sergio Alvarez. The volley fairly central, heading towards the roof of the net. The keeper had to be alert. Tipped up and over the crossbar. And another corner for the home side. Left-footed again, in-swinger. 5 in the area await. And it goes, keeper with the shout, keeper with the claim. Tries to move Celta forward on the break. Sisto takes Morales out of the equation. And the Botka of all players on the far side, but Sisto can't get it beyond the first Levante man. Campagna, now they need to push bodies up here, Levante. They need to start taking more and more risks as this game goes on. Morales gets his feet in the mix-up, gives it away to Hugo Mayo. Mayo has one man ahead of him, and that's Maxi Gomez. Celta slow the pace of the game down. Foul returns it to the scorer of Celta's second goal, and he's hacked down by Campagna. Will it be a yellow card? Indeed it will. First booking of the evening for Levante, and here's the 25-year-old who takes it. Not a bad distance once again for another direct shot at goal, this. And as happened in the first half, a water break. Not all the players decided they need water. Pione Sisto not making his way across to take on board any fluids. Paco Lopez, the only message he can really put across to his players is be more clinical. Any chance that comes your way has to be taken. 15 minutes of the 90 remaining, and now with at least this minute and a half to add on, plus of course a couple more for substitutions. You see that free kick come back off the goal. Eventually it came out to Beltran. Araujo's header, good save by Oyer to turn that onto the post. It was fairly close to him, raised his arms though, got enough behind it to turn it away. Now this free kick can be taken as the players make their way back onto the field. All the fans in the stadium understanding they're not running around, and it is still mild and humid here. The humidity doing most of the damage. Discussions again. Araujo, Mayo and Sisto all over the ball. Oyer lining up his wall. Well, be Mayo with the right foot. And Sisto fancy, or rather the left foot. There it goes short. Mayo will be right-footed, so Sisto clips it in. There's the header up into the arms of the keeper once more. Well taken. Now Levante can force their way upfield. Celta still dropping back, and Rochina just trying too much individually there. Maxi Gomez will try and push his way down the line. Goes over, nothing doing, looking for that, says the linesman. Now Rochina will want to release that early, does so up and over the top. Guamena one-on-one with the keeper, and he's brought down, and that is going to be a penalty. Thought he might try and finish it first time, instead he looked to go round Sergio Alvarez, fouled in the process. No double penalisation, The penalty awarded, the keeper booked. Smiles from Roger. But Levante have given themselves a real opportunity of getting back into this one. Great play from Duamena in the end. He kept his head. If he'd been able to keep his feet, the keeper hadn't touched him. One has to wonder if indeed the tackle by the backtracking defender of Araujo would have made the challenge to deny the striker the chance, but as it was, Sergio Alvarez says no contact. The referee says there was, and it will be El Comandante to take the penalty kick from 12 yards, 11 metres, 11 metros, as they say in Spain. The referee withdraws to ensure that no one encroaches. And Morales sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and Levante are back in business. Firmly struck, gave Sergio the eyes, the keeper went to his left, the ball went in the opposite direction, and it's Levante 1, Celta Vigo 2 here in Ciudad de Valencia, with just under 12 minutes of the 90 remaining, and one has to consider at least 3 or 4 minutes of time to be added on, what with the water break. So this game set up absolutely superbly for the final few minutes. Celta had sat back, they'd grown into the game, and Levante had come back, flowing very nicely, and a home team goal for the neutrals out there is just what the doctor ordered. So Tugo Mayo, one thing Levante can't do now is push too many forward in search of that equaliser and concede a third after all the hard work they put in. But for Celta, that will most certainly be the aim, to look for the spaces at the back afforded to them by Levante's attacking intentions. Waited for the keeper to commit, put it the opposite direction. Morales with the salute. Heavy touch that. Hugo Mayo sends it up. He was trying to test the goalkeeper from distance, hoping it might drop down and give Oyer something to think about. Instead it landed in the fans behind the goal, and the Levante keeper will kick-start the game. Domena challenges, doesn't win the ball. Maxi Gomez holds it up and holds it up well. Or rather, Boufal, give the glasses a wipe, saw the 9. Oh, that's glorious play. Boufal into the area. May well look to go solo, tries to pull it back, and in the end crowded out. Maxi Gomez remains stationary, wondering what his new teammate was going to do there. The threat nullified. Oyer onto it, and now Morales down below us sprays it into the centre for Sanjin Persic. 3 players in the area, up and over the top. Roger Martí brings it down, bustled out of the way. Tonio waits, puts his foot on it, clips it into the centre over the top of Duamena. And the flurry of attacking activity in the area forces Celta Vigo to clear, and clear anywhere. Levante have it back. Bit casual there. It's given away far too cheaply by the home side. Ball up and over the top, and this time it is Boufal. Referee doesn't even wave play on, and Sisto comes so close, just wide of the right hand upright. Great work yet again by Boufal. And this is what I talked about, Levante having to calm down, not take risks, allowing Celta to come so close to regaining that 2-goal advantage. And it will be Pione Sisto's last action of the half as Okay Yokuslu comes on. A player signed from Trabzonspor in the summer. Celta fans very pleased by what they've seen from Sisto. It is the 24-year-old Turkey international who enters the fray for Celta now. And he's been given the remat, the midfielder, to sit in and try and prevent Levante from connecting their midfield with their forwards. Here's Perisic, more lapses in concentration. Uncharacteristic as well, perhaps, considering how effective he's been since coming on. Perisic just taking his eye off the ball. And Celta now taking their time. More whistles go up. Still the free kick to be taken, and now it is. To his near side, Roncaglia out wide to Mayo. High ball up, looking for Maxi Gomez, trying to see if the keeper would be the target. Instead it's nodded out. Rochina lays it back. It is Tonio into the feet of Campagna once more. Levante know they can't afford too many slip-ups here. Celta dropping back in greater and greater numbers. Flicked by Duamena, doesn't find Roger. And for once, oh no, he's fouled there. Oh no, offside. The flag is raised upright rather than being waved, and Maxi Gomez, who lost out in that particular duel. Paco Lopez with that look on his face, everything crossed below the camera. One back again, however, and well one back, it has to be said, by Gustavo Cabral. And here's a charging run towards the edge of the area, taken off him by Sofian Boufal. Stanislav Lobotka wondered what to do once he'd got towards the edge of the area. Not familiar territory for the Slovakian international. That ball watched all the way by Nestor Araujo, edged off, linesman says no foul. Morales sprays it to Tonio. Tonio sees the run from Morales once again. He picks it up, Roncaglia goes over, free kick given. Levante furious about that. They felt Roncaglia waited with the contact and then went to the ground. Mr. Hernandez wants a few words, and now maybe he's going to produce. No, he's not. I thought he was going for his pocket there. I'm the man in charge, he says. It's light, isn't it? Roncaglia went down and stayed down. I see some treatment from Muga Maya for the cramp. You've got to say, this is only infuriating the Levante fans even further. The referee will stop the watch, of course. I've got to say, Sofian Boufal, since coming on, has also impressed mightily, avoiding the challenge there. Half-hearted, perhaps, from Rochina, who hasn't been that impressive. And here, running out of options, in the end, crowded out by Sergio Postigo. We'll see how quickly Roncaglia returns to action. I think it is a painful one. And he is grimacing. We'll have to see if he jogs back on and looks like nothing's happened or not. In this heat, I've got to say, cramp can be an issue, of course. It has been a long and taxing encounter, and I've got to say, played at full pelt as well. The freeze spray being applied, the magic sponge no longer in action. Now Duamena giving something to chase. Araujo gets his foot on it. Followed up and won back by Perisic, who just again tries too much. Now Celta on the break. Boufal. May not have many bodies up there, but when the player runs and runs at you like that, puts the opposition defence on the back foot. Boufal turning one way then the other. Still going into the centre. Maxi Gomez connects. And there is a corner to Celta Vigo. Just the two of them against the Levante defence, causing all kinds of problems here. Boufal's skills going one way then the other. The dummy past Perisic rather. Oh dear, I'm not sure who that came off, but it is a corner. Celta not committing men for. Boufal had a look across to say, well, I'm going to put this in, or maybe I'm not sure. No, he is He's going directly for goal. Oh yeah, tips it over. The goal Olimpico, as it's called here, the Olympic goal. Trying to score directly from a corner. Wasn't too far away either. This time it's less ambitious, played short. Foul picks it up, tries to make his way forward on this occasion. That's a very good challenge indeed. It needs to be cleared though. They can't start playing around with it back there, Levante. Long ball upfield, met by Araujo. Maxi Gomez putting himself about, but in the end, it's a free kick. Levante, I think, took that quickly after the referee's whistle. They're giving it straight back to Celta, and the offside flag is indeed raised now. So Levante need to get this forward. There has to be a sense of urgency combined with focus on the ball and a bit more accuracy over the top of Morales. Obviously heard the shout from Tonio. Fullback controls, finds Persic. Persic into the centre. Campagna across, and laid out to the right flank. Persic available. Again, the challenge goes in. Two players slide in there. It's done ever so well there to win that back. I'm not sure. The fans thought that was the best option from Ruben Rochina. Just lowered the whole atmosphere inside Ciutat de Valencia ever so slightly and ever so suddenly there. High ball up. Battling away in this near side. That's Fran Beltran. In the end, he knows giving away a free kick is the sensible thing to do. And there will be a change, and it will be Maxi Gomez who comes off. And it will be Dennis Eckert who comes on. A round of applause, Dennis Eckert, who moved his way up the pecking order ahead of Claudio Beauvue in pre-season, and he is now on. Fresh legs going forward won't be something that Levante's defenders will welcome. Right up and over. Oh, the keeper gets a punch to it. Morales brings it down superbly. Tries to leave it for Tonio. Wasn't sure whether to turn one way or the other. In the end, Levante do ride their luck a little bit. They've got a throw in. Tonio will go back to Robert. Robert across. Persic turns back. Campagna, it's a pass down the line. The foot race between Tonio and Hugo Mayo. Mayo seems to just fall across that to see it out. Discussion going on between the two fullbacks. The time running out. You can see there an enormous amount of added time with the water break and then the substitutions, of course. And indeed the stoppage for the penalty. Roncaglia using up some seconds, 6 additional minutes. So time yet for Celta to add a third, or Levante to find their way to an equaliser. This game by no means over. Up it goes from Sergio Alvarez once more. Now the ball forward, looking for Eckert. Cut out. Campana across to Tonio. Tonio brings it back in field. Tries to escape the tensions of Fornals. Does so, and Levante switch the play from left to right. Controlled once more. Down the line and looking for the overlapping run. Instead it's the ball across into the centre. This is where the challenges go in. This is where Celta have proved to be so effective and have done so once again now. The charge upfield led by Lobotka. Does ever so well to take the pressure off the visitors' defence with that run. Here's Boufal trying to slalom his way through once more. And there's a ball put through and across the face of goal and wide of the mark. It was Eckert with the opportunity. Didn't take it on. Hugo Mayo holds it up in the corner. Morales moved aside. Tonio won't be budged quite so easily. Oh, he's gone past Mayo there with a great piece of skill. Well, that's a tackle that's going to earn a booking. Take one for the team with that. Allow the Celta defence to get back. Professional foul by Buffal. So 3 yellow cards for Celta Vigo. Hugo Mayo, Buffal, and of course keeper Sergio Alvarez for giving away the penalty. A high ball forward not finding its man. Once again Celta can move upfield. Look at the pace here. And will there be a product at the end of it? The shot comes in. Eckert really turning on the afterburners there. Wasn't really able to test Oyer, but it certainly had the few nails been bitten here amongst the home supporters. Now Morales to Tonio. 4 players on the far side. 7 in front of the ball. The pass has to be accurate. Over to the far side, and between 2 Levante players, it's a very, very good leap from Junior Alonso. And again, this game end to end. Not quite playground stuff, but it goes one end then the other, and this could finish it off. That's a great block tackle. Superb from Robert to deny Buffal. He goes for goal again rather than look up for his teammate. Still they come though. Levante can't clear their lines. Celta not quite toying with them, but just having that extra bit of quality up front that they've now got with Buffal. Allowing Celta to move the ball away from their own goal. That pass, a stray one, however. Now the crowd find their voices. They want their side to create one last opportunity at the very least. Koke cross to the far side. Ball into the area. It's too easy though for Araujo. It's going to come back. This has to be a better centre. Koke swings it there. The shot comes in and it's deflected away. Rochina took aim. Sergio Alvarez not having to make the save. As Morales ball in. Koke swung it there. You see there Roncaglia just flicking up the heel from the resulting corner. We're all the way back. This time floated across into the centre. Oh, the knockdown wasn't bad either, was it, from Postiga, but no one ran onto it. In a claret and blue shirt. Into the final minute of the 6 added on. Campagna with the throw. All hands to the pump. Not quite into the proverbial mixer. One back by Persic, however. That's a better ball in, keeper decides not to come. Now Celta can hold this up. Eckert edges it past the last man, and indeed the advantage was played. And the foul, and indeed the yellow card for Robert Pierre, may mean that Levante's chance of building on that penalty that they won has now gone, and Celta Vigo will make it 4 points from an opening 6 possible. And a very strong away day performance from them. Celta in the first half were clinical, and indeed they have secured all 3 points. First half goals from Piano Sisto and indeed Maxi Gomez 9 minutes before the end of the opening 45, ensuring Antonio Mohamed has his first victory as head coach of Celta Vigo. Levante failing to build on their opening day win away against Real Betis as they're beaten in their first home game of the new campaign. Handshakes all round, but a convincing away performance from the visitors. And the final score here in Ciutat de Valencia of Levante 1, Celta Vigo 2. We will be taking you pitch side in a few moments. We'll hear from one player from each side. But a very Levante left to lick their wounds and